We're just waiting for Chair Wilson to get here, and he should be here soon. Thank you.
Brian.
I thought it was just a majority.
I left an hour ago.
It's because they're all buying property around the Oakland A's stadium.
I left my house at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I left.
So first, still.
Took me about an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna do a presentation and during his report,
He wants these taken separately.
voting on them separately, or you want to do reports on them separately? I talked with Calvin earlier. Or his flesh.
Oh, no.
Last time we were in here, it had a different paint job, so. Yeah.
I bet you didn't know that I picked this location for this day on purpose because it was the closest to the arena.
How's everyone?
Okay, sorry, everyone. You know me, I'm one for being punctual and I'm the one that made us late today, so I apologize to everyone here. Ebony, are we ready to go? Are you back there? Who's running this for us today? There we are. Oh, you're always hidden behind somebody else. If we could we have roll call, please?
Chair Wilson,
Here.
Trustee Benavides, Vice Chair Wall,
Here.
Trustee Foyt. Here. Trustee Haran. Here. Trustee Melendrez. Trustee Ortiz,
Here.
Trustee Rogers,
Here.
Trustee Whiteley. Here. And we have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you very much. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is very unique, having not Calvin sitting next to me. Okay, do we have anyone signed up for public comment at this time?
No, we do not.
Thank you very much. Has everyone had a chance to look over the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The agenda is approved. Item 4, approval of the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, minutes are approved. Chair's report. Couple of things. For most of you know, we're missing a trustee today. I'd like to take a minute to honor our friend and devoted fellow board member, Sandra Raymaker, who recently passed away. Sandra dedicated her life to public service and was serving her first term on the Las Vegas Clark County Library District Board of Trustees. She was appointed to represent the community of Mesquite on our board by County Commissioner Marilyn Gillespie. Sandra had previously served as a city councilwoman for Mesquite and as mayor pro tem. Our deepest condolences go out to her husband, Doug Raymaker, and their family. And I'd like to invite my fellow board members to share any thoughts they might have at this time.
I'd like to speak. Sandra was very knowledgeable about government service. She understood how things can function. She was a hands across the aisle type person to get things done. It was quite a drive for her to come in each time for the meeting, but she was effective. And I know she regularly visited the facilities, both the Workforce Center, which used to be the Library of Mesquite, as well as the Mesquite Library. And she will be missed. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Trustee Foyt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Trustee Remaker was a very good friend. She'll always be remembered for the things that she did, not only for the Las Vegas Clark County Library District, but for the residents of Mesquite. To her family and friends, we'll miss her dearly. Thank you. You did us well.
Thank you, Trustee Ortiz. So on to, from sad news, go on to some bittersweet news. Most of you know this is my last board meeting as chair. And I've had a wonderful pleasure serving on this board for the last 4 years, and especially the last 2 years as my tenure as chair for this board. And I just wanted to highlight some of the accomplishments this district's made. Just over the last 2 years, we've won the 2021 Las Vegas Book Festival Crystal Bookmark Award, the 2021 Bust of Las Vegas Gold Award Art Galleries, the 2022 ALA Library of the Future, the 2022 RUSA Best Emerging Technology Award, the 2022 Urban Libraries Council Top Innovators Honorable Mention, the 2022 Best of Las Vegas Silver Award for Art Galleries, the 2022 Western Arts Alliance Leadership Award to Mac McNally, the 2022 Governor's Points of Light Award to Leslie Valdez, the 2023 ALA Library of the Future Award again, the 2023 ALA Medal of Excellence to our director, Kelvin Watson, and the 2023 UCL Top Innovator in Anti-Racism, Digital Equity and Inclusion. And all of that is to say that while I may have been chair during that time, none of that had anything to do with me. All of the credit goes to the staff of this district and our director, Kelvin Watson. And what a pleasure to sit here chairing a board, overseeing a staff that can do that. And all I can say is just wow. And really thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for just making us the best district in the country. And I really appreciate it. And congratulations to all of you. Okay, well, as we all know, I'm not much for long things in my chair's reports, so that is all I
And
have.
Mr. Chair, before you move on, if I could comment on your report.
Absolutely.
I just want to thank you for your service to the board for the last 4 years. I've only been able to know you for 2, but it's been an exceptional opportunity to serve with you. And even though you and I come from completely different ends of the political spectrum, I think we've gotten along pretty well. And I know that, you know, certainly Ward 6 and the city and the county are better for your service and your commitment to public service. And so thank you for your service as our chair and for your service on the board.
Thank you, Trustee Waugh.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Trustee Ortiz.
first of all, to everybody listening, thank you, Brian. Brian is actually my neighbor, pretty close neighbor, and
We can throw footballs back and forth.
he took on a task that is not easy. This is a large, massive operation with a lot of employees, a large budget, a lot of moving parts, and whoever is the chair, it's not easy. You have to herd cattle, if I can use that, no offense to anybody, in trying to get consensus so we do the right thing. And so thank you for taking on the leadership role for the last couple of years. A lot of things have been accomplished, and so thank you. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Trustee Ortiz.
And I'll just say, I'll echo Trustee Waugh and Trustee Ortiz's comments concerning your stepping into the role, your leadership. And, you know, it's not been a lot of easy decisions to be made, but we appreciate your guidance, your leadership, and your passion for the work that we do and the community that these libraries support.
Thank you.
And I definitely would add, I think most of us on the board don't realize the extraordinary amount of hours and thoughtful care that you gave in leading this board. It was not easy, whether good times or bad. It's just, it's an enormous amount of work, and you shouldered it with grace. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Having a board that was very open to cooperation and collaboration sure made it a heck of a lot easier. I was fortunate enough to spend a year in the legislature as a policy director, and I have to tell you, they don't get things done like we do around here. And that's a hats off to everybody I serve here with.
And Chair, thank you so much for always being open and being really expressive and candid as we are learning the process. I found you were a really great mentor in understanding processes, and I really appreciate the way that you were always true to your convictions and helping find the best future for the district. I know that that was in your heart, and it showed through in every decision you made. And I also appreciate your Golden Knights jersey today.
Well, they are one of our partners, and it would be a disservice not to represent. Thank you very much, Trustee Whiteley. I appreciate it. And we're going to go on to library reports. Before we pull any specific reports for discussion, I'm going to ask Floresto to come give us a presentation regarding the agenda items today that he's prepared for both of them for us. And then hopefully during his presentation, that will lead into questions and follow-up that we can get any stuff we need to answered for everybody. Oh, thank you and welcome, Floresto.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Floresto Cabayas, Library District CFO. For the record, as Chair Wilson mentioned, we have 2 items on the consent agenda that I wanted to add more information for. One is a recommendation for a motion authorizing staff to move forward, taking steps to obtain new markets tax credits for the new West Las Vegas Library project. And the other item is a motion to authorize for the board to appoint a slate of directors for the Mesquite Qualic B and the East Las Vegas Qualic B. The New Markets Tax Credits Program is an important resource to help fund construction of the new West Las Vegas Library. And another component is establishing a nonprofit corporation known as a Qualic B. And once that Qualic B is established, the Board of Trustees appoints the directors and the officers annually. And the nuances of the New Markets Program are very technical. So I invited Cameron Garner with Crescent Growth Capital to help answer any questions and provide more information. Crescent Growth will serve as the facilitator for this West Las Vegas New Markets transaction. And also here is Barry Burns, a partner with QTAC Rock. This firm will be serving as special counsel. Barry Burns will also be explaining the conflict of interest waiver that you see in the board packet. Both of these firms are experts in this field. The Library District and the Library Foundation partnered with them during construction of the East Las Vegas Library and the Mesquite Library campus. I'd like to thank both of these gentlemen for all their hard work and guidance over the years and for being here tonight. So with that, I'll turn it over to Cameron Garner.
Thanks, Floresto. My name is Cameron Garner. I work with a company called Crescent Growth Capital based out of New Orleans. As Floresto mentioned, this is our 3rd time coming and having the pleasure of working with you all. Before I get started, as a Capitals fan, I'm a man without a home, so I think I'm adopting the Golden Knights.
Welcome.
A little bit of flattery always helps in these situations, I'm sure. So Crescent Growth Capital has been around for about 15 years. We've closed about $1.5 billion worth of new markets transactions. And the New Market Tax Credit Program, for those of you who don't know, like Floresto said, is it's a tool. It was it was enacted into law in 2001. Program didn't really get its feet under it until 2005, but it is broad bipartisan support, owing to the fact that it is first and foremost a jobs creation program. It's a gap filler. It's not meant to come in and fill 80% of a project budget, but for a project that's almost there, it gives you 15 to 20% of your capital stack in a very friendly way. It is fairly technical. A lot of our job is to go and bring 2 outside parties into the transaction, an investor and a CDE, and I'll talk through those parties in a second. But again, just very, very grateful that we get to come and work with you all in the district again. Very excited about it. So the 2 parties that we have to bring to the transaction are a new market tax credit investor who makes an upfront capital investment in exchange for a 7-year stream of tax credits. The other party is a community development entity. This program is administered by the Treasury, a subset of the Treasury called the CDFI fund. And you can imagine the Treasury didn't want to be in the business of directly doling out this allocation, this subsidy to projects on a state-by-state basis. You can imagine what a political football that might become. So every year they dole out this allocation, about $5 billion a year, to a group of about 300 community development entities called the CDEs, we refer to them as. And so part of our job at Crescent is to go market this project to these CDEs. Well, how do we do that? We lean on all the great things that these libraries are doing, all the things that Chair Wilson mentioned that have earned you all these awards. Every library is not built the same. And the East Las Vegas Library and the Mesquite Library were 2 fantastic examples of providing a broad spectrum of services to the community for all ages. And that's exactly what the New Market Tax Credit Program is intended to do. So we are going to go out over the next 3 or 4 months We're going to market this project. We've worked very closely with John Vino and Joanne Pravetti at the district and their amazing staff to try and as best we can distill everything that this new library will do for the community into a 6 to 10 page marketing summary. You can imagine what a task that is, because there's quite a bit to put into that summary. But we will market this project out to these community development entities and these investors over the next 3 to 4 months, and hopefully come back with some interest. And judging on the interest that we received for the first 2 deals, we really expect to do very, very well. The process from here, like I said, is the next 2 months, 3 months, we will start talking to the community development entities about this project. We'll give them updates on where things stand from a design development standpoint, from a project financing standpoint, and then kind of boots on the ground. How shovel ready is it? But that's our responsibility, is to go out and identify the parties on the district and the foundation's behalf, and B, secure their commitments. And then C is to usher the transaction through to a successful closing. So we're kind of, if you want to think about it, we're in the early stages. And so just by virtue of the fact that you're in the state of Nevada, that is a very good thing. The Treasury ranks all 50 states in terms of per capita deployment of the program and tries to tend to balance things out by prioritizing the states that have received the lowest amount of allocation historically. Nevada, fortunately and unfortunately, has not received as much allocation as other states, so that works in our favor. But first and foremost, this branch is eligible for the program simply by virtue of its address. It's in a low-income census tract. So you check that box. It also provides a broad swath of services to the community, like I mentioned. And so that makes it especially attractive to these community development entities. There's a lot that they can write about if they invest in the project. So for all those reasons, we're very, very excited about the program, very, very excited about the project. I want to make sure I hit everything here. I think the next step would be to kind of maybe walk through the consent.
Sure, I can do that.
Good evening. I'm Barry Burns, as mentioned earlier, from the law firm of QTAC Rock. And I had the privilege of representing the library district on the 2 prior New Markets tax credit deals for the East Las Vegas project and the Mesquite Library project. I was asked to speak with you all today, primarily to explain what may seem like a little bit of an unusual agreement that's going to be presented to you all for the library's signature and sign off. And that is the conflict of the waiver, or the waiver of conflict of interest. This document is going to be necessary for this transaction because there will be representing basically 3 separate legal entities. One is the library district, one is the library district foundation, and then the third is the newly formed or to be formed qualified active community, a low-income community business, the QualicB. It's going to be similar to the 2 other entities that were created for the East Las Vegas and Mesquite Library, but they all have interests that are aligned in this transaction. They all want to have the project built. And that's the reason that QTAC Rock can represent all 3 entities in this transaction. However, the reason why we're having this agreement presented to you for signature, as with the representation of in any other representation that our law firm does, in which there are multiple entities, in the unlikely event that there is a disagreement between the entities, and if that agreement goes to litigation, the conflict waiver clarifies that QTAC Rock will not represent any of the 3 entities in a litigation because we represented you all in a joint endeavor. So if it ever gets to the point that there is a litigation, like I said, that is very highly unlikely, QTAC Rock will not be able to represent any of the 3 entities. So I think that was all that you wanted me to talk about on that.
Thanks, Barry. Sure. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, not any questions, just a quick comment. First of all, thank you for bringing this forward. I had asked for it to be on the agenda. And real quickly, I don't want to belabor it, but the Las Vegas Clark County Library District has built 2 libraries with 0 debt and paid for them in cash. That's not an easy task. Ask any of the cities, any of the public entities. I firmly believe that we're going to do that again with the West Las Vegas Library. And it's a testament to this board for seeing the vision, but also looking at other mechanisms to find money to pay for this. And this is one mechanism, although a little bit convoluted. That's why we hire the big guns, the big attorneys to take care of that. It will allow us to put in more money in there so the project can get finished. And so for the taxpayers that are watching, rest assured, we're watching our pennies, spending them wisely. And then for our employees, we're doing the best we can so that we can achieve a great library, a very usable library with a lot of programming, and then yet have the money in hand to pay for it without going to bonding. A lot of people don't care, but at the end of the day, when you see that tax rate on your taxes, I think it's July 1st, we get that list of taxes that you got to pay. Ours is very, very low because we are continually paying for everything in cash. So thank you again to our employees, to the Board of Trustees who believe in this. And again, thank you, Floresto, for bringing in the right firm to help us find the money to finish off this project. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Ortiz.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Resto at this moment? Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Resto. If we could, we have a library operations report with a sunrise presentation.
Okay, Chair Wilson, Trustees, Leo Segura, Library Operations Director for the record. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the Sunrise Library's Shadow Puppet team. They have performed over 30 shows across the Las Vegas Clark County Library District for Summer Challenge at Metro and Greater Clark County branches and signature events like Summerlin Library's Chalk It Up Festival and Fall Festival. And most recently, they presented about shadow puppetry in libraries at the professional conference LibLearnX in New Orleans. The team includes Natalia Tabasura, Danny Dewar, and Anthony Allen, and I would like to welcome them up to the mic.
So good afternoon, everyone. And this is Shadow Puppetry in Libraries. We tell tales in the dark. So I'm in charge. Like, okay, so again, my name is Natalia Tabasora. This is Danny Dewar, and this is Anthony Allen. This is our core team of Shadow Puppetry. And but it's not just us that bring this together. It's really the whole Sunrise team plus Nyla. So we've got Scott Clonan, our branch manager, Nyla Walker, who helps us with it, has built our stage and has given us tips on how to do our puppet shows better. Noelle Jones, which is our adult services department head, and Cynthia Hernandez, which is our youth services librarian. But it took our whole staff, because if they couldn't cover the desk so that we could do these wonderful things, we just wouldn't have had the time. And with everyone's help, we did this.
Okay. So what is shadow puppetry? It's just basically an ancient storytelling that has origins in like China, the India area 2000 years ago. And it's simply light, object. You can have art, things that move on it, projected onto a screen. It's just a unique way, a brand new way to tell stories at our library branch.
And we're going to show you a clip of a show that we're very proud of. It's a show called The Wolf Who Shreds, and it was the show that we took on tour last summer. And it's a little bit of what we do. You see the back and you see the front as well. So you'll get to see us playing with the puppets.
Bam! Your house is still standing. It's a miracle.
Made of stone, anything else and beats I make with my drums would turn it into dust.
That's impressive.
First things first, love your style. I hear it really moves people.
Thanks a lot, Bam Bam. Uncool, bro.
Anyways, why did you play for us?
I've got a song in my heart, but nowhere to play it and no one to play with. Also, I like to play loud. Believe us, we know how that feels. Maybe we can help? You piglets might be onto something. must be those sticks.
Ladies and gentlemen, piglets and pups, are you ready to rock?
Once upon a time there was a wolf named Shredder. Had a song in my heart, but I knew it could be better. I came to this town, wanted some feedback, but as it turns out my song needed a pack. There was strife, fear, maybe little confusion. They thought I was here on a mission of collusion. Sure, I destroyed a few houses here and there, but I just had this track I needed to share.
So we are very proud of that show because it was originally drawn by us. The script was written by us and the voice acting was also done by us as well. So the next slide is going to show a picture of our space at the Sunrise Library. It's where we do all of our personal shows. And it'll show also the families where they sit. And that's a picture of our stage as well. And then that's the perspective of the back. So I love this picture in particular too, because you get to see the faces of the kids in the front. And that was one of our our school visits. And they are just so engaged with the show that they're telling right there.
All right. So why shadow puppetry? It started as a 2020 pandemic solution. We needed to find a way that we could feel comfortable to bring these stories to the kids, but we didn't know what to do. Nobody did. So we put a divider and we put a light and then we told those stories. It became it had potential for virtual programming. So there were like other reasons to go further. And it became an outlet for staff creativity, talent, and recognition. And best of all our families loved it.
Okay, so Circle is our first show that we put together. And this was our beginning, simple shapes. We started experimenting with gels, doing shadows, thanks to technical production services. As you can see with the mitten, more colors, drawing eyes, more people, more characters, more participation from other people working in our branch.
And then next we have one of our shows called Blueberries. It's a Hansel and Gretel tale. And this is the show where we really started to kind of upgrade our things. Like all of the artwork is original, done by Natalia. And we were doing voice acting for all of the characters as well. And then in the next show, Billy Goat's Gruff by Noelle, you see that the stage is a lot bigger. So we ended up upgrading our stage as well to a 3-panel stage. And we were very excited to be able to use all of that space for that show.
Most definitely, because for a creepy pair of underwear, that's like just part of like the 50 individual pieces that we created to tell that story and stuck. Same thing, but we also included a live presenter in front, a storyteller that was able to interact with the children and, you know, juice up the story even more.
The one on the left, our Night of Mythology, that one's one of my favorites because it was an anthology done for 16 plus. So it was something that was a project done with adult services and youth services combined. And it was extremely successful. And we loved writing for adults and having the adults come and enjoy something unique, something that we had never done before. For them. And then of course we have the Wolf Who Shreds, which you saw the clip. We went to several branches. We went to the greater Clark County areas as well as metropolitan areas. And we had so much fun with that one.
All right, so as you can see, these are the shows that we have as of January because we're currently working on more. So we've written 13 shows. We've created art for 13 shows and voice acted that many. We've learned so much. And we are working on one for the summer challenge this year, and it's Ulak and the Beanstalk, so look out for that. And we're hoping to do another after hours 16+ show too, because there's so many stories to tell and we can't exclude anyone. We got to include everyone.
How we do it, the stage is the crucial part of what we do. So we've been through many different versions of our stages. The first one was done by Lanny in facilities, and he built us a gigantic stage, and it was amazing. And then we decided to have a 3-panel stage, which was also very large. But then, for the summer tour, we found out that we couldn't really travel with a 3-panel stage. We can't even fit it in the car because it was so big. And we needed to be able to take a stage that was mobile with us to different branches. And Nyla from Technical Services built us that one, and we love it very much. And then we have our screens. So right now we are using paper, but we plan to explore different kinds of screens like shower curtains, just to see what works best. And then lights is also kind of a fun challenge because, depending on where you put the lights, it depends on how the shadows project. And so we started with one big light, and then we moved from 1 light to 3.
All right. So I do the art, and we use it to make the puppets. We make it the scenery. I use the app Procreate. Sometimes we use InDesign, and we use Cricut Design Space, which allows us to use Cricut machines to cut our puppets out. And the miscellaneous things you need to know for our puppets, we use a lot of dowel rods, fasteners, laminate, cardstock, and various versions of tape. And you'll see a little bit of a drawing that I started with, and then it became a puppet, and then we cut it out, and a picture of a background. So we use all sorts of things. Those are all old file folders that we became a background.
And as mentioned before, we write our own dialogue, our scripts, but right here, this audio, the Audacity and GarageBand, they're just basically ways to record music, voices. And this turned out to be great because it allowed us to incorporate more people at our branch, because you can work around schedules, because somebody can lay down a vocal at one time. Doesn't all have to be done at once. We put it together using Final Cut Pro, and our sound effects, they're just royalty free stuff you find on the internet, but we can also use all the musical instruments from Storytime and all of the other materials. So, oops, sorry. Yeah.
All right, so our impact, we've done our last summer tour. We had 5 rural libraries and 2 urban libraries, and we got a cool t-shirt out of it. But what you want to hear are the numbers, because we started in 2020 and we had an attendance, we had 2 shows, 43 people. And as we moved on, it grew. And as of last year, we were able to reach 857 people with our puppet show. And we did 17 shows last year, and we already have 11 scheduled for this year. And as you can tell, we're very proud of it, and we love it. And we love that our audience cares as much as we do about it too. All right.
So our puppet shows help with literacy, because in some ways, like, it resembles a book. Action moves from left to right. The musical instruments we use, it introduces like chapter breaks. There's cause and effect. And I guess that creativity that we make translates to the children, because we've had take and makes where after the show, they do their own shadow puppet shows, or they like start mimicking what we do. So, and I guess that kind of goes with the inspiration and inspires. The STEAM after shows, we have them come back. They can take a look at our puppets, see how all the magic is done. They can play with them. They can see the proximity to light, the shadows. We also introduce like color theory, because sometimes we mix reds and blues to make different colors. And as before, like reds, they help give like symbolism to stories. This is important. Look here, kind of things.
And then, as mentioned before, it is multi-generational. We have done shows for babies, little kids, school age, teens, and adults. So everybody enjoys them. And then for diversity, we plan to branch out more and do more mythology of different around the world. And we also think that puppets are really, shadow puppets specifically, are easy to relate to with the kids because it kind of homogenizes things, and the colors, they love that. Yeah, it's just a really great way to introduce diversity to our communities.
But our takeaways from the whole experience, that even though, and when we went to Live Learn X, we were trying to show other libraries that they could do this, even if they couldn't bring it because they didn't happen to have a voice actor, an artist, or someone who could edit, like video editor on their staff, to look to your own staff and to encourage them to explore their talents and passions to create something really cool like this. And that opportunities can come from challenges like the pandemic. But we're so happy that we're able to come up with this. All right, so this is just a link to some of our shows that we've recorded, so that if you want to take a peek more than that 2 minutes, you'll see the background, you'll see all the shows even from the beginning, so you'll see how we've grown. But also if you just want to see a couple pictures of all the groups that have come to see us. And we wanted to thank the Las Vegas Clark County Library District, and especially to Trustee Foyt for coming to see us when we were at Live Learn X. Again, my name is Natalia Tabasor. I'm the Youth Services Department Head at Sunrise. Danny Dewar, our Youth Services Assistant, and Anthony Allen, also our Youth Services Assistant. So thank you.
I would like to say that I thoroughly enjoyed their presentation when I was in New Orleans, and they kind of drew a awkward time slot. It was towards the end of the schedule on the very final day, and people were kind of drifting around, but anyone who wandered by, as well as the people that were already seated and came specific, they never moved. I mean, it was very enthralling, and I was very proud of you all. Impressive and creative, and you worked with the materials you had at hand to get this started, which, you know, is remarkable. You know, you remembered that we don't have a lot of money sometimes to head into certain areas, and I'm just really proud of you all. And I know that you've heard from other libraries wondering, how exactly did you do such and such or something to that for that? Be proud. Thank you so much for today as well.
Yes, and just thank you for taking your time to come here and show this to us. And what a perfect example of how we have that long list of awards that started off is things like this and the dedication you put into it. So very much appreciated, and what a wonderful note to go out on to see that. So thank you. Did anybody else have anything else? Would anybody like to pull forward any reports for questionings, discussion?
Well, while we're on the subject of Sunrise Library, I just also want to give a big kudos. I had the opportunity to go to their Get Outdoors program. However long ago that was, I don't remember, but it was really great program, bringing all sorts of folks together to encourage folks to get outdoors and experience the nature that we have around here. I don't do it because hiking is not my thing, obviously, but it was a great learning experience. I had nowhere to park. So John, I think Sunrise needs a bigger parking lot, but it was really fun. Enjoyed experiencing it.
Thank you, Trustee Wah. Are there any other reports that anyone would like to call forward at this time? Okay. Hearing none, then I will go ahead and accept the library reports. Agenda item 7, unfinished business. We have none at this time. And under new business on the consent agenda, would anybody like to pull either of the items for individual discussion?
Mr. Chairman, not for discussion, but we probably should pull them and just do them in public. Unless you see, we shouldn't.
I don't, we've had the presentation, the reports on it. I don't think we need to do them, but if you would like to, we can. We
I
absolutely
guess
can.
what I'm looking for is this question for Jerry, is one motion cover the 3 motions, or do each motion?
Yeah, it's a consent agenda, and it can be accepted in total as long as no trustee wishes to bring anything out for separate discussion?
Then I don't wish to take anything out for separate discussion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Then I will accept a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Wah, second by trustee Rogers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda passes. Item 8B, the regular agenda, discussion and possible board action to provide an update to the Las Vegas City Council and Clark County Commission regarding issues identified with the current agreement between the Clark County Library District and the Las Vegas Clark County Library District Foundation. This was an agenda item asked by me just to kind of wrap up as chair before I go my separate ways. I don't need to read the whole thing, but everybody here is pretty familiar with it. But to summarize, in February, the most important part is, as appointed representatives, it's our job to keep our bodies that appointed us abreast of developments of critical importance. We've been working through some legal issues with the foundation, sorting out how to best fundraise, what we can do, what we can't do, et cetera. We've come up with a plan to move forward that should both boards agree should be very fruitful and a well thought out process of how we're going to really hammer this out and make sure down the road things work really, really well for years to come. In February, Trustee Benavidez had volunteered to this board to help facilitate an update between our two boards to be sent to the county commission and the city council. She has since asked to not be involved in providing that update. So I'm just bringing this motion forward so that somebody else can take the ball on putting an update together, a joint letter between our two boards to update the city council and county commission. I know several of the board members have been reached out to regarding what is going on between the district and the foundation and how to fix it. And I think it's our duty to share that we've come up with a path forward that everybody's happy with and a way to get this done in a reasonable time. And if no one would like to work on the joint letter, or if that's not possible, I did provide a draft letter update that we could send instead, but that is for the board to discuss. And I will leave it up to you. So I'll entertain any comments, discussion on the item. Okay, hearing no discussion, is there anybody that would like to facilitate getting this joint update letter done? So,
Mr. Chair, I suspect we could table it till the next chair is voted in, I guess.
well, I mean, we have two trustees that are appointed to serve on that board. We have another trustee who serves on both boards. And I'm not really comfortable with us not doing our due diligence of updating them. But if nobody wants to work on the joint letter.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. The presentation would be by both the foundation and whatever letter is generated on behalf of both boards.
Correct.
It would be the chairs of both boards, or?
It could come from the work group. It was originally going to be the chairs of both boards is what Trustee Benavidez was going to do, but she has asked to not be involved in that and does not want to participate in it anymore. So we need somebody else to do it. We can, hence the reason it's blank. We can assign another trustee to work on it. We can have the working group work on it, or we can just simply send an update ourselves. But I think we as appointed officials owe it to the city and the commission, county commission, to tell them there's no fire, that everything's good, and we've got a nice path to solve everything in a good way for everybody.
I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Okay.
I provide, go ahead, Trustee Whiteley.
I think this is something that the working group as a whole can discuss. I don't know that there is a plan yet. And so I think when we have a plan, I mean, I think we're in great shape. Everything's going well, but this feels like it might be a little early to me to make any kind of, we didn't make any formal statement to them prior. So I guess I'm not really understanding why, and I don't remember us actually agreeing to this.
During our executive session back in February, several members were contacted by city council and county commission regarding a letter they had received from the foundation that was really just miscommunication and misunderstanding between two boards that raised a lot of hairs on the back of people's necks and got a lot of people very worried that there was some big crisis versus we were looking for a solution to a problem. And that was something that we were supposed to get on updating right away, but once we had worked out this working group and got that done, Trustee Benavidez did not want to participate anymore. Somebody here must be, besides me, must remember the executive session. Unfortunately, it's an executive session. I can't pull out the recording of it to play, but this board owes it to the elected officials to let them know all is well. And that we've got a solution that we're working on here. Even if we don't know the final solution, we need to put their mind at ease that the problems are not insurmountable and we have a path forward.
I would just have to say, sir, that there are so many issues that our elected official commission or council address. They haven't continued to hear the fire that we calmed and put out. I think we should just let the issue die. I would not send another letter. I think we look more appropriate by the fact that it was an issue. They did reach out to us. We have resolved it. We've worked towards resolution. I'm done.
Okay.
Yep. That's just.
If everybody else feels that there's no need to let them, then this is a joint board that makes that decision. And I don't hear a motion at this time, so we will move on. Item 9, announcements. The next board meeting will be held May 18th at West Las Vegas. The June board meeting will be held Thursday, June 1st, 5 p.m. back here at East Flamingo. The July meeting will be held July 13th. Again at 3150 North Buffalo, the Rainbow Library. Is there any public comment at this time?
Not at this time.
Mr. Chair, before you move to close.
Yes, Trustee Ortiz.
Mr. Chair, thank you again for your service. I do have one request for, since the director's not here, when there's an opportunity, if they can give me a copy of the full budget sent to the legislature like they did last year. I know it's not quite been prepared yet. Mr. Cabayas?
Yes, Florista Cabayas, CFO. We can do that, Trustee Ortiz.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's
just
all
to clarify, a draft of the tentative budget or the final budget once that's been adopted by the full board?
actually, both.
Okay,
Both. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Okay. Hearing no other discussion, this meeting is adjourned.